Hello and welcome to another episode, I can't remember the number, of Ashley Haden's Political Breakdown. As you can no doubt tell from the start, Pete the tech man isn't here, so I'm doing the tech myself, but that's not going to take away from, I'm not going to say quality, because the self-indulgence of it all. This week, also, normally I have two guests, but this week I don't. It's all going well this week. But here's a good guest. So my guest this week is... Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Chris. Chris Sav. Ashley knows me as a audio vegetable enthusiast. I basically just sing songs about vegetables.
Fantastic, brilliant. Right. I didn't tell you before the recording, but I'll tell you now. Don't stare at the camera for all of it.
All right. Yeah.
Because it's a chat.
Yeah.
So, what piece of news have you brought to start with?
Well, it was sort of from this week, but...
We're going to start with something that isn't even from this week.
Well, it's kind of... Well, it's been bothering me. So, now, I don't watch Britain's Got Talent, but... Yeah, that's what, like, racists say, don't they? Right, yeah. So, I was at M&S the other day at Waterloo Station, at the self-service checkout, and putting my... scanning my things... And it's Ant and Dec's voice, Ant and Dec's collective voice speaking through the self-service checkout thing.
Is this something that they're doing with people, or is it just that particular one?
I think it's like all chains of. I mean, like all M&S's around because you. So it's Ant and Dec telling you to scan your item. So I think it's M&S sponsors Britain's Got Talent, because the one next to mine I could hear Amanda Holden's voice coming through. Right.
Oh God.
Yeah. That for a start is like, the beginning of like the apocalypse. And then it got me thinking that, so that I think the final of Britain's Got Talent was on like last weekend or something,
mm-hmm.
So it's kind of sort of near to this week. But
an old bloke one, didn't he?
Apparently, yeah.
I
didn't watch it, but yeah, for once, someone human won it as opposed to the two dogs that won it the last.
Is it two dogs that have won it?
I think, separate years. I think, like they had two different dogs win it, which says a lot about the talent. So it got me thinking, that whole thing when everyone was having a go at Diane Abbott because she was drinking like a
mojito,
a little can of mojito on the train home, which she probably got from M&S. At the time I was livid because like those cans are blatantly made for trains because they sell them at Waterloo Station.
Yes.
They look like they could be, energy drinks, So then I thought, when she was purchasing
like a can like this.
Yeah, exactly. When she was purchasing it, she should have gone to the self-scanning checkout, and basically a recovering alcoholic would have been telling her to scan the item and buy it.
Which one's the recovering alcoholic?
Ant.
Is he?
Ant I guess because he went to rehab and then now he's back, so he must be recovering.
I mean, I try not to keep on track with any of those fucking assholes are doing. It's certainly a story to start with.
I had to get it out.
That's absolutely fine. It's what it's there for. Might do a disclaimer at the start saying it's not all politics this week.
Well, no, but in a way it is, because it kind of speaks about Parliament. It's, there's like a subsidised bar in the House of Parliament, and they're having a go at her for having a little drink after work when.
Yeah, but for Diane Abbott, I think the pile on Diane Abbott was fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
it was a absolutely pointless thing on one of the. We want our politicians to seem more human, and whereas Diane Abbott is drinking a can of mojito on a train, you've got Rory Stewart coming out saying that he's done opium in Iraq. And you got Michael Gove saying he's done cocaine.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for fucking Boris Johnson to talk about the time he was in a KO.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is the thing. We pile on Diane Abbott for having a can, and they go, oh, well, they're just showing their humanity, these Tory MPs. The fact that Michael Gove has done cocaine, I think explains a lot about Michael Gove. Arguably, a lot about the Tory ideas as a whole. Because everything they have seems to come from the mind of a cokehead.
Yeah, exactly.
Going right. We need a big society. You know, like a massive society. You know, it's going to be. We're all going to get together, or we're going to start up our own businesses. Why haven't we started up our own business yet? Oh, we should do.
Dementia tax.
Yes. Although, I mean, I said it before, dementia tax is one of the greatest ideas I've ever heard, you know. Well, because who do you tax, you know? People will forget about being taxed. Mark of a... That is a mark of an evil genius, that is. I mean, that's been the big stories of this week, hasn't it? Everyone doing drugs in the Tory party for some reason. I mean, I don't know why they're saying it.
It's like a Spartacus thing.
Yeah.
I did heroin.
I just don't understand what is in them. Like, I understand, like, Rory Stewart, because Rory Stewart is trying his very best to be different to everyone else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, while still being a Tory. So there's only so far you can go. I mean, his policies he can't start going, well, I want to nationalise stuff. I want to tax the rich more. You can't do that. It goes against his beliefs. So he's trying his best debating everyone. This is him online. I'm in this town debate like a fucking... It reminds me of how you would pitch a horror film. No, like It or something like. Instead of being a clown, he's a Tory MP that wants to debate you everywhere.
Yeah.
Just look into under the into the things. And there's Rory Stewart there going, "Do you want to debate?"
Yeah. You're just you're fishing the tea bag out of your cup. It's like
just he's there. Debate. Absolutely ridiculous. Although, I mean, people are going along going, oh, I like him a lot more than I like all the others. That's not a bar, though, is it?
Yeah, no, exactly. And he's sort of like kind of weirdly fake, because he does this thing where he's like trying to be like kind of, I'm just taking a selfie and walking across, the border and stuff. But it's not a selfie as well, because someone else is holding the phone, but he's making it look.
Oh, that was sad. That really was sad, because he did after, because someone pulled him up on it and said, are you pretending to hold that? And he just was like, yep.
Yes.
You got me there.
Yeah, which in a way is quite refreshing.
Oh no, it was refreshing to actually accept that he did something stupid, and then he tried to make a joke about it with, I think it's Joe Swindon, the Lib Dem potential next leader, where she was pretending to do a selfie and it was him holding it. Aren't you? It's not funny. It's the problem with politics. You have to lose any form of sense of humour to go in there. It's absolutely madness. So have you got any other stories this week? Because I've got a number of mad shit that's been going on this week. Had Trump over this week?
Yeah, exactly. Him and the Queen having a ball.
It went about as well as you can expect.
Yeah.
The severe amount of lies, it's impressive, and we're so used to it now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Even going in, like he was doing a press conference, and he was saying how everyone was there, chanting for him and all of that. They're there to support him. And the journalist went, like, you can hear the protests. You can literally hear it through the wall. Yeah. And he's there going, oh no, they're all here to celebrate. Are you ill?
Yeah.
It comes to a point where you're going, you're not even lying anymore. You may actually be unwell.
Yeah, you actually believe it, and
I mean, today he said, yesterday was it? He did a tweet about how the moon is part of Mars.
Yeah.
But this is where we're at. And the main problem with Trump is he's the hero of this country because he's the one that we're going to be doing our trade deal with.
Yeah.
How well do you think a trade deal with the US would go?
I mean, like, it's badly to say the least. As well as like having Trump as the president makes it doubly worse. You know, I don't know much about kind of trade and trade routes and stuff, but I know that it would just be stupid. Would it? I don't know.
No, yes, yeah, I would. A few years ago there was a TTIP, which was the transatlantic trade deal between the US and the EU, and people weren't a massive fan of that. Not only was it done incredibly secretly, so that no one could know anything, but when little bits of it did leak, they were not fun. A lot of protections for companies and stuff like this, which is what America wants. That's what America are all about. This is America who has secret courts, and their trade deals involve their trade deals involve being able to sue countries. So, like British American Tobacco sued, I think it was Togo. I think it was. This was a few years ago because it was Togo and Mali, and they wanted to. The country wanted to take away the packaging, the advertising on the packaging of cigarettes, and they sued them, won, for loss of income, and all of these disputes are done in secret courts in Washington. You know, when I say secret courts, this isn't conspiracy secret court. This is, there's a court there, it's happening, you can't hear a single thing about it. Like a secret court that we have in this country for terrorism, which we use very... we see terrorism as anything that isn't fucking... terrible fucking de-radicalisation camps and everything else. But... This is the type of trade deal that we'll end up getting. Because we're tiny in the end. I know they go along and go, we are the 5th biggest economy in the world. You go, but it's it'll be like running against 3 Usain Bolts and then like me. Like I'm the 4th fastest in this race. But the other 3 so far ahead, and that's the time when you've got the US, China, and the EU, who contribute really, and maybe India as well, contribute the most in terms of people and everything else in the world, and because that's where you want to access. You do a trade deal to access those people for a cheaper aspect. We're not going to have a lot of say. This is what people seem to miss. I love this country. I was watching cricket earlier. I love the World Cup. Love cricket. Love rugby. Love watching England play. But there's one thing being patriotic, and there's another being blindly nationalist and allowing our country to fall into the claws of any fucking Tom, Dick, and Yeehaw who want to come and fucking sell our NHS.
No, definitely, and like
just keep the mic close, just for the sound, for the adoring fans, mate. This is it.
To hear the utter drivel I'm about to say. Liz Truss will be pleased because then we'll get the American cheese.
Oh, cheese, cheese! Oh, what a woman!
Yeah,
but on Tories, who do you see as being the new leader? Because May's gone now. May went as a Conservative leader yesterday. So she's gone. So who are you seeing as your favourite?
Well, favourite in terms of
odds. Favourite in terms of who you want.
Likelihood. Yeah, I think is. I don't know who I would want. But likelihood. So, I think maybe Boris, but then. The whole thing with today Dominic Raab was saying about like how he wants to put a hold on Parliament so during like
Yes,
negotiations.
prorogue,
Yeah.
as all good democracies are allowed.
Yeah.
I just hate it. We're there, we're fucking, this is all about democracy, it's all about democracy.
Yeah.
I know what we should do, we should suspend Parliament until we get this thing through. Like, in what terms is that democratic? In what fucking way, in your big foreheaded shitting fucking world, is that a fucking democracy? Because, I mean, we're at a terrible point in the world, and especially in this country as well, where we do not allow people to change their minds.
Yeah.
That's it. And so every idea that everyone has, they have to jump through hoops to continue to have that idea, because the idea of changing their mind is fucking disgusting for them. There's no growth in these people, so they'll use false equivalents, they'll use everything they have in their arsenal, fucking straw polls, whistle, dog whistle, everything else, just to go, oh no, this is still this.
Yeah.
Fucking madness. I can't see Raab doing it personally.
No, yeah.
I don't see Raab getting in.
He's too like awkward as well. I think you see him on Question Time. He just looks terrified. Maybe that's because of his head, and his eyes are more prominent. Do you know what I mean? Like, because like the camera cuts to him when someone else is speaking, he's like writing down. Yeah. But then you can say that about most Tory candidates. Andrea Leadsom, she's got kids.
I mean, she's back as a mother. I understand.
Yeah.
She said in an interview today that she was asked about whether or not it was good that people would lose their jobs over no deal, and she replied, "Well, people knew what they voted for." Which it's another thing that annoys me, but I don't want to go for everything about Brexit that annoys me, because I mean, it'll turn into a fucking hostage situation. I'll be honest with you at that point. Let's go on to a different topic. STIs. They're on the rise in England. So in 2008, there was 447,694 new diagnosis of STIs, which is a 5% increase. I mean, why do you think this is going on? Is it just that people have got bored of buying condoms?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know, like the sort of the fashions of dating and stuff now, but
fuck, neither do I, mate.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the kind of advertising techniques of Durex or whatever that makes it like sort of uncool to buy condoms now or something. I don't know, or people are just in such desperation, or maybe they're too expensive.
I mean, the expense, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting idea. If it is owing to the cost, but I would say it costs less than like getting gonorrhea.
Yeah,
that would be my thought. Like, gonorrhea has increased the most by 26%. Gonorrhea, and we've also got the super gonorrhea that's coming along, which is like fucking the worst superhero ever.
I was gonna say that with like STIs, gonorrhea, sort of got to catch them all. It's like the super gonorrhea is the next stage in the evolution.
Well, so you got gonorrhea is up. The top ones you've got. The most common diagnosis is chlamydia, which is 49%, a classic, of course. Chlamydia, genital warts at 13%. Gonorrhea is 13%, and genital herpes is 8%. Although chlamydia and genital wart are both declining. So, I mean, gonorrhea has that chance to take over.
Yeah, it's like the Tory candidates.
That's it. You go, well, valid, because I would put money that Boris Johnson has given a lot of people, a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, not only does he look like a genital wart, but I assume he is like patient zero for super gonorrhea. Yeah. He looks like it, But I mean, we've got. I mean, some of it. There's been a 5% increase in syphilis.
Oh God.
I mean, what fucking century are we living in?
Well, you know, like everyone wanted to get back to the old days.
That's
you
it.
know, get back to the old days.
Shit. Back in the days when it was better.
Yeah.
When your nan had syphilis.
Yeah, exactly.
What good times. I was reading about it, this particular piece of news today, and one of the lines I absolutely loved, which was gonorrhea cannot be spread by toilet seats or sharing a bath or towels, which I think they're just trying to get rid of every excuse. I'm telling you, I must have got that from that toilet seat.
Yeah, from licking that toilet seat.
Yeah. Well, I penetrated this toilet seat, and it turns out, I know this isn't the biggest piece of news, but with the continual cuts that we have in our health and everything, and the embarrassment of getting yourself checked as well. It happens, especially when you're younger and everything else. You may be in a relationship and you may do something wrong, cheat or something like that. Last thing you want to do is go to a fucking STI clinic. Someone sees you, gets back. I mean, I would suggest like keep it in your pants, but I understand. Oh no, I don't understand why people do it, but I just need to. I mean, there has to be a way to solve this, because I don't want to get to a point where, unless we get to a point where everyone has everything. And then, that would be a fantastic way of stopping society, though.
Well, that's have you seen David Cronenberg's Shivers?
No.
That's essentially what it is. Is that there's this kind of parasite, and it takes over a whole block of flats, and it's passed on through like sort of kissing and stuff, and like so there is this sort of sexual aspect to it, and then soon like the whole flat is just like taken over by these things, but they're people. They're just like having massive orgies all the time, and there's like one guy, this cop, who's like the only one that's like hasn't been infected yet, like goes throughout the whole movie, and then you sort of think like it's not like a zombie outbreak, because they're not mindless creatures they're not like dead and stuff. They're just having a great time, and you sort of think, oh, maybe that.
Well, things like gonorrhea, one of the things that they have the potential to do, not only can it be life-threatening, but it can also make women infertile. So if everyone got super gonorrhea,
then
humanity would be dead in 100 years. I could live with that. I mean, it's certainly a way of doing it.
No, that's solving all the problems. Like,
I would solve a lot. I do need to get past solving everything with death, though. It is my go-to. Right. Let's go on to one from one STI to another. Stephen Yaxie Lennon. Did you see the video of him punching a bloke the other day? It would have been Thursday, because it was so it would have been Thursday or Friday, because it was at the England game over in Portugal.
No, I missed it. The last thing I heard about him was the milkshake thing. For
or against milkshaking?
For. I mean, like, what else? You can't do anything else, because, you know, I mean, I don't see why not, you know.
I mean, I'm with you to a point. People in politics, milkshake them, absolutely fine. We have a history, politics and political standing up to politics. We have a history of chucking things at people. You know, rotten fruit, eggs everything throughout history. This is. Now, the idea that milkshaking is the next step to political genocide is bollocks. You know, when people are arguing, I mean, first milkshaking, how about if it's acid? Well, the acid's bad.
What if he's lactose intolerant?
I mean, that's the bit I like most about it, because I do hope that some of these bastards are lactose intolerant. But this is the problem with the left. They've ruined milkshaking.
Yeah.
Because they started chucking it at people who were just like knobheads.
Yeah.
Utter knobheads.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with the left. It's why the left can't have anything nice.
Yeah.
Because you do so, you have something that is a humiliation, a pure humiliation.
Yeah.
Like Farage, fucking Stephen Yaxi Lennon, the one who wants to rape an MP, whatever is a Sargon of Akkad level 72 dickhead elf. Loves a bit of free speech about when people point out that he's a dickhead. Which is all of the right, you know. The fucking all for their own free speech. But I'm fine for milkshaking all of them. The issue comes, and what we've seen two examples of, is people will go, right, I'll milkshake this bloke then, and I'll milkshake this bloke. Screaming that everyone's a Nazi. So fucking tiring.
Yeah, it will get more tenuous, like as it goes on.
Well, yeah. I mean, first off, a lot of these people, they're not Nazis. Nazis are a particular thing.
Yeah.
Fascists, they may have, they certainly have some fascist ideas.
Yeah.
Almost certainly, you can have a look at like the war museums and stuff. The Holocaust War Museum, or the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah,
Memorial Museum. That's the fucking word, retard. And they have a list of like things to look out for fascism. Yeah. We tick a lot of them. We tick an awful lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd always argue that we are heading towards authoritarianism, which most of the world is already under.
Yeah.
That's the big problem in this. But along with the Stephen Yaxi Lennon punching someone thing and the milkshaking. The other day during the Trump march, someone got milkshaked. There was a video of a woman screaming Nazi scum at him. She has had to quit her job. She was NHS, worked for NHS. They did a petition. 3,000 people signed a petition, and she quit because they wanted her to lose her job. Now, this is the right wing doing it. Are you for or against what they did?
So, did she try and milkshake someone else, or they milkshaked?
She was just there screaming Nazi scum at the bloke who got milkshaked.
And then
and then they found out who she was.
Yeah.
Did a petition online, and 3,000 people signed it. It went viralish.
Yeah.
How viral 3,000 people can go. And she had to quit.
Yeah. I'm against that because it's the kind of the sort of researching who she was thing afterwards, and then there's that and making her lose her job. Whereas if you throw a milkshake at an awful politician, it's more often than not they're fine. They will be fine at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah. She's losing her job. She doesn't have all the money that they do. She doesn't travel around in a helicopter or private jet or whatever.
So in your mind, she shouldn't lose her job because of the amount of money that she has.
No, just
because she was she was a left wing. She was screaming at someone that they were Nazi scum, someone who was a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And so now, if it was the other way, because we've seen this tons and tons of times now, where you see someone doing a Nazi salute, a Tommy Robinson thing, or something like this. We find out who it is. Someone standing next to Tommy Robinson or something. The left will find out who it is. Yeah. They'll do a petition, go viral. Yeah. Find out who it is. Then they'll lose their job. Now, are both of them right? Are both of them wrong? Is it owing to because someone called one person a Nazi, where the other one was doing Nazi salutes? Is there a level on here?
Yeah. Well, I would say both of them are wrong, because in that moment you can say, "Oh, that guy's a prick," sort of thing. It depends, then there's this whole thing of does the job he do then contribute to his Nazi ideals, or in some way, or inform them, or facilitate. Well, they probably do facilitate them. I don't know.
Is he a World War II reenactor?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult one.
It's interesting because I would argue that anyone, a company, are allowed to get rid of you for we've got quite hardcore workers' rights in this country, owing to being in the EU. We don't have as strict as somewhere like France, but we still have rights for workers. The only way you can get rid of someone like that is gross misconduct. Is being videoed doing a Nazi salute gross misconduct? Let's take it down from Nazi salute. Let's say racism on a bus.
Yeah.
Those videos go around seemingly fucking daily.
Yeah.
Now, someone on a bus, racist at someone else, attacking, shouting, get out of my country, rah, 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 rah. Know who that person is. The company who they work for finds out that they've done this. It's gone viral. Should the company be allowed to sack them?
I think they should, because of the kind of the abuse aspect to that.
Yes.
As well, yeah.
Oh no, I 100% agree with you.
No, I know.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, but I did need to. You see where we're going, because I think that we have companies, especially, they're there for they have this way they want to be seen.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
See, you want to come buy our stuff, work with us or something else, because we're the people that you want to work with. They cannot keep up that corporate facade if, when you're shaking hands with someone, you know them as the fucking racist bus bloke.
Yeah.
RBB. I agree wholeheartedly that they should be able to. It's difficult when it comes into our right of expression and our freedom of speech and everything.
Yeah.
But then you have to look at whether or not a corporation is set to the exact same standards as a government. We see a lot with our freedoms discussed often with terms of YouTube. Like YouTube banned a number of people recently, and they've not banned others for other things.
Yeah.
But we're holding them as they're the ones who are in control. Now, the right wing will say that allowing them to do that is giving companies the right of our freedoms.
Yeah, censorship.
Yeah, that is bollocks. You're the right to going on to these things, being racist and being you're the one giving them.
Exactly, because there are rules, like terms and conditions that you don't violate.
I always compare it to a pub. They do a lot of things. If I walk into a pub and I start shouting racial slurs at people, doing Nazi salutes, and saying how I fucking rim jobbed everyone's mum, and they ask me to leave, that's not my freedom's gone. That's a company saying get out. And this is the thing with the likes of Facebook and YouTube and everything else. We're the product. We're the lambs in the fucking to the slaughter. They make money off of us, not the other fucking way round. You know, they're not held to our views unless there's enough people, unless government are saying, no, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Would you have them regulate their own stuff? Would you have the government regulate it?
YouTube, I'd have them. I think Well, because then when you get the government regulating it, then that becomes a kind of sort of a bigger, more difficult, convoluted thing to navigate. I'd say keep it on YouTube, regulating it.
Yeah, potentially have a set of guidelines that a government has set out, but those guidelines can't go into... because, I mean, freedoms as a whole, the only people who can take away your freedoms are the government. And so when the government is saying, you can't do this, you can't do this, then that's where the worry comes.
Yeah.
If that's why I'm not a big fan of things like the Royal Charter, because I don't like the government being the regulator of like free press.
Yeah.
I think that's a worrying slope, because you saw over in Australia. Just the other day, the the AFP, AFR, the AFP, the Australian Federal Police, they have all but confirmed that that ABC and News Corp journalists could be charged for publishing protected information. So, like leaked documents, they can charge journalists for doing this.
And the publication, like the companies don't get held to account. It's the journalists that
because journalists want to do it. I mean, even with a company, there are certain things. This is where the press freedom is needed. The press is there to hold the government to account.
Yeah.
I mean, that, and of course finding out what Kim Kardashian's doing.
Yeah, of course.
But mainly, you would hope, is holding the government to account. So, do you think that this is coinciding with something like Assange? Do you think, because Assange is a very difficult thing to talk about, because I mean, first off, do you think that Assange is a journalist?
Well, I don't know much about his background.
I'm quite sure it wasn't in journalism.
Yeah.
I may be wrong though.
I wouldn't say he was a journalist. He's something else though. Like because I don't know. You kind of say you for your job you write reports. You wouldn't say that you're a writer, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's kind of on par with what journalism does or is meant to do, but not under that title. But then you go back to what does journalism at its roots? What does it actually mean or entail? I think it's become maybe blurred over the.
Oh, years. Certainly, because I mean we know that it's dying anyway.
Yeah.
Everything's a fucking opinion piece now, which is not journalism. Opinion is what it is. It's an opinion. It's not investigative journalism. But leaks are needed.
Yeah.
The only way to get anything done is to hold anyone to account is via leaks. We find out about everything via leaks. Cambridge Analytica leak. All of the WikiLeaks stuff, I mean, it's in the name. Edward Snowden, he gave... it's strange, because Edward Snowden, he gave his stuff to a journalist called David... I got David Mendoza in my head, but I don't think it is David Mendoza. But it went over to The Guardian, and The Guardian, along with, I think, a couple of other newspapers, I think New York Times may have been one, they were the ones who actually leaked it, got it from Edward Snowden, and so but our government destroyed all of The Guardian's what's the fucking word? Computers with all the information on. And held the journalists under terrorism stuff. And this is the type of thing that we forget, Edward Snowden, of course, now over in Russia, probably have said some stuff to this, and this is the problem when it comes to all the WikiLeaks and everything else. My main problem with Assange is not only is he a rapist, and I'm not doing guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
I'm doing he ran away for fucking for 9 years for a fucking rape charge.
Yeah.
That is guilty until he can prove he's innocent.
Yeah.
At that point. Yeah. But it's their work with Russia. That's it. Like there have been tweets that RT have done about leaks coming from Wikipedia, from WikiLeaks, that have come before WikiLeaks have put them out. Stuff like that, I don't trust. I do not trust Russia. I do not trust China. I do not trust the US. I do not trust the UK. Do not trust any government. Because they're all out to fuck you. But Russia especially, yes. They're in an information war. Of course they are. And they're shit hot at it. Absolutely exceptional.
My Instagram has been hacked by Russians several times. I don't know why.
I mean, it's because you're such a big deal in the vegetable comedy world.
Exactly.
That's what they're trying to get into.
I know. They're sick of just growing turnips.
They're sick of how your celeriac satire is going down. This is the problem.
They think I'm making digs about Chernobyl.
Have you seen that?
I have, yeah.
Is it as good as they...
It is, it's really good. I think like part of it, the reason it's so good is because of the weight of reality and history that comes with it. You know, also coming from the back of like the Game of Thrones finale, everyone's like, "Oh, this is much better." You know, we'll just watch this. This is much better. You know, sort of thing as well.
And it's not a brag on my side, but I've watched about 20 minutes of Game of Thrones ever. I've never got into it. I don't like watching things once someone's told me they're good, because it gives you a false sense. You go in there,
expectations.
Your expectations are high. It turns out to be fine. So go, oh, now I'm disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, so you can be kind of quite smug in like watching everyone else.
I try not to do smug because I hate smug. Occasionally, I no doubt move over to it, but I don't think I'm good enough at anything to do smug.
That as well. Yeah.
Right. Let's go to... Have you got another news story?
I was just thinking of one. I don't know, like, what we can... I mean, it's the two women that got...
beaten up?
Yeah, on the bus. I don't know if you have that down.
I didn't. I don't know. I mean, I didn't have it in because it wasn't on my list of things. But 5 people have been arrested from the ages of
15 to
18. Yes.
Yeah.
It does suggest that maybe in schools we should probably teach people that everyone's the same.
Yeah.
It does kind of take away that argument that people aren't ready to hear about it.
Yeah.
Because people need to be told.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to say that it's difficult being a straight man, because it's not the right words, but it's not easy. Not because of anything that anyone else has done, apart from straight men.
Yeah.
We're scum, aren't we? What the fuck is wrong with us?
Exactly.
But do you ever, I mean, I try to be a half decent individual.
Yeah.
But I mean, even times, you know, I mean, it's even times you see a beautiful woman walking along and you're like, oh yeah, she's beautiful, and then for the moment you're going, oh yeah, I mean, I'm not even a fucking human anymore. She's just hot. Yeah. And then you look away, going, oh, I'm scum.
Yeah.
Utter scum.
Yeah.
Difference is, I don't head after her and fucking beat her up or try to attack her
just because she doesn't adhere to my desires, or you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's worrying. Do you take the bus often?
Yeah.
So have you seen much rise in hate?
I I haven't. I haven't really. I mean, a few years ago, I got into an altercation with. I was out with some friends, and one of my friends was eating a tuna salad from Sainsbury's, and then this guy had a problem with it. He punched, and then another friend said, "Oh, piss off." He punched him in the face, and then it became this whole thing. Just angry men.
Yeah, I mean, that seems more like he's got issues with tuna.
Yeah.
I don't think that's one of the big selections of hate that the police are looking at putting down at the moment.
It's on the rise, much like the sea levels.
Maybe that's his fear. You know, he's got to stop eating them because they're going to know that we're eating them. When it comes up, they're going to start fucking attacking us, mate. There's more of them than us.
It was more profound than I initially thought. I haven't seen much hate, recently myself, but I mean, I've seen
the news.
Seen the news,
videos, seen the figures. I mean, we've got knife crime.
Yeah,
which of course is the big one. But I've got some stuff. Yes, so Scotland Yard, in their attempt to tackle the rise of violent crime in London, we've seen a 5-fold increase in the number of stop and searches. So we had, so they're all done under Section 60. So Section 60 allows the police to search anyone in an area if they anticipate. So if they anticipate serious violence. Now, Sajid Javid enhanced it at the start of the year. He enhanced the Section 60 powers to give police more power to stop and search people without reasonable suspicion. So we've taken away the reasonable suspicion. This is pure anticipation. Of course, what's gone on, we've seen like a 5-fold increase, and as we know, this is disproportionate to a set of people. Yeah. And I am fine. Yeah. It's not me.
It's the fishmen.
It's everyone who has tuna. So I mean, it disproportionately, of course, targets black people, with black men 8 to 9 times more likely to be stopped.
Yeah, and the thing is, the tragedy of that is that then perpetuates the idea they have in themselves, like, oh, I'm seen as a criminal by default. I might as well, I mean, that's kind of like a really basic generalization.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. That doesn't, not everyone thinks that, obviously, but there's maybe a tiny strand that.
But I mean, it certainly it solidifies the chip, as it were. You've got a chip in the shoulder because you think that everyone sees you in a certain way, and then you get stopped all the fucking time by the police. You go, well, they do see me a certain way. I mean, I am being held back. You are only seeing me as a colour. You're not seeing me as a human being. I'm just a fucking a number to you. Now, if we are looking to stop violent crime, can you think of a way that isn't stop and search? And if stop and search is one of the best ways, then how do we stop it being disproportionate? Yeah,
I mean, the best way I can think of is something that you have to kind of, bring back kind of opportunities and community centres and stuff like that for like young people to actually do stuff and not resort to doing that, but on a more like immediate level, so kind of, I mean, this whole anticipation thing, it's like Minority Report, but real, and
without there actually being psychics.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even at least in Minority Report, there was a certainty that if they weren't stopped, they will do it, sort of thing.
Yeah, but wasn't Minority Report, and this isn't spoilers because it's years ago.
Yeah,
weren't they being manipulated?
Yeah, so that was the
can't
twist.
Even trust them.
Yeah, the twist at the end was that the guy running it was like,
manipulating it all along.
So it's kind of, it's that line of suspicion, and it's, I don't know what.
I mean, the chance of us solving all of this is slim to none.
Yeah.
But we are coming towards the end now. It has gone incredibly quick. I thought it's been an absolute delight talking to you.
Likewise.
Do you have any final stories or points? If not, do you have anything to plug?
Just final points.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I've covered the Britain's Got Talent, the cheese across America, and the fish men.
Yep.
I think that's all of it. To plug, I'm
You can
doing.
plug it to the camera.
Okay, I'm doing Edinburgh this year, along with 2 other great comedians. The show's called Our Mothers Wouldn't Watch This, because that's true. And I'll be doing. We're all doing our individual sets, and I'll be doing some vegetable songs.
What time and where?
6:15 at Novotel in Grassmarket, I think. Yeah.
Fantastic. Right. Fine. As always, I do a roundup of the news that I didn't get to.
Yeah.
So Labour MPs have urged the party to make its complaints procedure entirely independent after leaked emails suggest that members of Jeremy Corbyn's office stopped the suspension of David Prescott back in 2017 for harassment. US Labour also want Lisa Forbes, who's a new MP for Peterborough, to be suspended after she liked a Facebook post saying that May had a Zionist slave master's agenda, which is another wonderful way of these people who aren't anti-Semitic and claim to abhor racism unable to notice it. A Swedish court has rejected the request for prosecutors of Assange to be detained in his absence from the 2010 rape allegations, meaning that it's going to be harder for them to request an extradition. Statute of limitations for his rape allegation end in August 2020. Czech Republic witnessed its biggest protest since the fall of communism. Like 120,000 people are demanding the resignation of the PM Bapis over alleged misuse of EU funds. Finland have pledged to become carbon neutral by 2035. Denmark elections, Social Democrats won 25.9% of the vote. Left-leaning parties won over 50% of the vote, and their far right, which is the Danish People's Party, halved their stuff to 8.9%. So that's good. Change UK lost 6 MPs. Cuck. It is Pride Month, so that's good. Don't beat up gay people or lesbian people or any of the others in those many, many, many alphabet letters, numbers, symbols on it. I can't remember them all. I'm not gonna. If you want me to say a particular thing about you, just tell me and I'll do it. You know, I'm very, very, very malleable that way. British economy growth almost grounded to a halt last month. Aung San Suu Kyi has found a friend in Orban, because everyone needs a friend, and neither of them like immigration or Muslims. And that is it. As always, you can catch my stuff on Next Up. You can see my albums on ashleyhaden.bandcamp.com. I will also be in Edinburgh, but I'll tell you that close to the time because I haven't got a show yet. Thank you very much to my guest Chris Sav.
Thanks
you
for having me.
And bye.
I can't believe that.